Welcome to China Watch. In recent years, many well-known Chinese brands have either gone bankrupt or significantly downsized. Among them, La Chapelle, once known as the #1 Chinese women's fashion brand, recently filed for bankruptcy liquidation, sparking regret among netizens. Chinese culture places great importance on clothing, food, housing, and transportation, with clothing taking precedence.
China's hardworking population currently supports the world's largest and most comprehensive apparel industry, producing more than half of the global clothing supply and ranking among the top in global exports. According to data from the National Bureau of Statistics of China, in 2019, Chinese spending on apparel, including clothing, shoes, hats, and textiles, amounted to 1.3 trillion yen. However, after 3 years of the pandemic, this figure dropped to about 1 trillion yen in 2023, marking a nearly 25% decline in spending, a shocking statistic.
Meanwhile, China's clothing exports reached $159.14 billion in 2023, approximately $1.1 trillion, an 8.5% increase compared to 2019, according to Chinese customs statistics. Domestic demand for clothing fell by 23%, while exports grew by nearly 9%. This shift indicates that China's clothing exports now surpass domestic demand, with the industry heavily reliant on international markets.
Before the pandemic, the total market value of China's top 100 listed clothing companies in April 2020 stood at 730 billion yen, with an average market value of 7.3 billion yen. The top 10 companies included Anta Sports, Shenzhou International, Li Ning, Younger, Highland Home, Zhongqian Holdings, Yuyuan Industrial, Bozading, Samir Garments, and STST. Among them, Anta Sports, Shenzhou International, and Li Ning, listed in Hong Kong, were industry leaders. By 2019, Anta and Shenzhou had joined the 100 billion club, with market values exceeding 140 billion Hong Kong dollars and 120 billion Hong Kong dollars, respectively, while Li Ning reached 54 billion Hong Kong dollars.
In 2021, the peak market values of these companies surged to HK 510 billion, HK 310 billion, and HK 280 billion, respectively. However, as of 2024, these top performers have seen dramatic declines.
Anta Sports market value dropped to just over 210 billion Hong Kong dollars, more than 50% down from its peak of 510 billion Hong Kong dollars. Shenzhou International, currently valued at approximately 92.5 billion Hong Kong dollars, shrinking by over 200 billion Hong Kong dollars. Li Ning, now at around 37 billion Hong Kong dollars, a loss of 240 billion Hong Kong dollars since its peak. Fifth-ranked Highland Home also reported store closures. From 8,200 outlets at the end of 2022, over 2,200 were shut down in 2023. La Chapelle, once hailed as China's premier women's apparel brand, has filed for bankruptcy. At its peak, the company operated nearly 10,000 directly managed stores nationwide. Similarly, the once popular fashion brand Suxiu has reportedly closed all of its 800 physical stores. Other domestic brands like Meters Bonwi and Samir have faced significant declines in performance. For instance, Samir Garments' revenue in 2023 was 13 billion yen, with net profits plummeting by 57% to 600 million yen, the worst financial performance since its IPO 12 years ago. In 2019, Samir's revenue was close to 20 billion yen, with 6,500 employees. By 2022, it had shrunk to just 3,200 employees. Meters Bonwi, once celebrated as China's casual wear leader, has also fallen into crisis. During its peak in 2008, the company debuted on the A-shares market with a market value of 38.9 billion yen. Today, Meters Bonwi teeters on the edge of delisting with a market value of only 4.37 billion yen. Foreign brands have not fared much better. Global apparel giants like Zara, H&M, CNA, Old Navy, New Look, and Forever 21 once dominated prime retail locations across China. However, most have either exited the market or significantly scaled back operations. According to financial reports from Zara's parent company, Inditex Group, the number of Zara stores in mainland China dropped from 183 in 2018 to just 96 by January 2024.
In the first half of 2024, the combined net profits of 42 listed Chinese apparel companies amounted to just 6.7 billion yen, with over half of these companies reporting losses. Cumulatively, they closed over 10,000 stores. Large-scale closures and financial losses among leading brands indicate the dire straits of smaller, unlisted companies.
China has over 13,600 apparel companies with annual revenues exceeding 20 million yen. From January to June 2024, nearly 30% reported losses. Official data from 2020 to 2023 consistently shows that over 20% of these enterprises operate at a loss, though the real figure may be much higher. Some reports estimate that 30 to 50% of apparel industry employees, out of a workforce of approximately 170 million, may face unemployment. The broader Chinese economy appears to be in a severe crisis, potentially surpassing the scale of the Great Depression in the United States, 1929 to 1933, when incomes dropped by 20 to 50% and unemployment reached 25%. Today, China's property market has collapsed, with values plummeting 30 to 50%, massive mortgage defaults, declining consumption, surging youth unemployment, estimated at 40%, and widespread business closures. Financial sector vulnerabilities add to the turmoil. On the global stage, China's economic downturn coincides with increased geopolitical tensions. The government's aggressive policies, from harassing Taiwan to intellectual property theft, have alienated many nations. International patience with China's wolf warrior diplomacy has worn thin.
Meanwhile, the election of Donald Trump as U.S. president, with promises to impose a 60% tariff on Chinese imports, presents a significant threat to China's export-dependent economy. Should these tariffs materialize, China's apparel industry, which already relies heavily on international markets, will face unprecedented challenges. China's economy, now largely propped up by exports, risks collapse if this vital sector falters. That's all for today's episode of China Watch. If you enjoyed this program, don't forget to like and subscribe.